Everyone makes mistakes, bad decisions we wish we could take back. The majority of people get to fail in private, but for an actor, everything is public. Their personal lives, their relationships, and most of all, their resumes. But just because they're famous doesn't mean they're oblivious, and sometimes they are their own toughest critic. Here are 10 actors who hated the movies they starred in. George Clooney. At this point, everyone agrees that Batman and Robin was the worst film in the character's history. With its cheese factor through the roof, this is the movie that gave the world bat nipples, and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. So it's not a surprise that the movie got raked over the coals by fans. But nobody hates it more than George Clooney himself. It's one of his biggest embarrassments, and he doesn't mince words about it. But what seems to sting him the most is how badly it hindered the franchise. He even felt he owed Adam West a personal apology. In interviews, Clooney's called Batman and Robin a waste of money, and it seems like he hates it more than any of us could, so that's earned him a lot of forgiveness. Edward Norton. If a movie's material isn't up to snuff, Edward Norton wants no part of it. The actor's portfolio is diverse, but his greatest regret is 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Norton was allegedly very adamant about changing what he believed to be a mediocre script, arguing for constant rewrites grated on the crew and delayed production. The actor maintains that he simply had high hopes for the movie. He didn't say much after that, since his part of the press junket became considerably shortened, despite being the titular character. Daniel Craig. In case you haven't heard, Daniel Craig is sick of being James Bond. Once, when asked about it in an interview, he mentioned he'd rather slash his wrists than even think about playing 007 again. Thanks to an intense press junket he was required to do for 2015 Spectre, the actor tongue-lashed the iconic character at every turn. Craig argues that Bond is a misogynist, and part of the problem with how Hollywood perpetuates themes of toxic masculinity. And a lot of people definitely agree. But since audiences are so used to hearing how honored the actor feels to play the legend, Craig's candidness surprised everyone, including the movie's PR team. Burt Reynolds. Straight up, Burt Reynolds hates Boogie Nights, so much so that he actually fired his agent for recommending the role to him. The actor thought the movie's pacing was absolute rubbish and didn't make any sense, so it's safe to say that he wasn't exactly a fun guy to hang out with on set. Reynolds appeared in almost zero of the film's promotion, and it might have something to do with what co-star Mark Wahlberg referred to as a piss-poor attitude. Even though it was released over a decade ago, Reynolds still takes shots at the movie whenever he can in interviews, to remind everyone just how much he loathed the experience. Robert Pattinson. For an actor looking to break out in Hollywood, there's almost nothing better than a franchise. Guaranteed work is a rarity in the movie business. So you'd think Robert Pattinson would be beyond stoked to be signed to a 5-movie Twilight deal, right? Nope. The actor has made fun of the series at every turn. He's on record tearing his character Edward Cullen apart and insulting series creator Stephanie Meyer. But at the end of the day, everyone involved with Twilight has made a big pile of money to go home and roll around in. So who's the real loser in this scenario? Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum fell victim to the Hollywood machine, getting caught up in a contract that didn't look out for his best interests. Fresh off the set of Coach Carter, the actor signed a multi-picture deal that he would forget about. That is, until some genius decided to turn G.I. Joe into a movie. The contract reared its ugly head, and when Tatum tried to rage against the machine, he was met with the threat of a considerable lawsuit. We assume that after weighing the pros and cons, the actor decided it's easier to dodge explosions than it is to deal with the legal system. That doesn't mean he kept his dissent silent, though. He's given multiple interviews denouncing the film arm of the G.I. Joe empire. Shia LaBeouf. If you thought the most recent installment in the Indiana Jones franchise was an insult to its legacy, congratulations. You've just been recruited for Shia LaBeouf's hater squad. While we've come to expect some zany antics from the actor, he was at a different stage back in 2008. It was shocking to hear a newbie tear down the iconic franchise, but that doesn't mean he's wrong. LaBeouf said the movie dropped the ball and told several interviewers how disappointing it was. When the backlash came, he was quick to say that he wasn't the only one who felt like this, and he threw co-star Harrison Ford under the bus too. Not cool, man. Matthew McConaughey and Renée Zellweger. Okay, so Matthew McConaughey and Renée Zellweger haven't always been known for their superior choice of roles. But no one gets anywhere without making a couple mistakes along the way, and both actors have a couple of duds under their belt. But as it turns out, there was one dud in particular that they both share: 1994's Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. There was a gap between when the movie was finished and when it was released, and in that time, both McConaughey and Zellweger had begun to make names for themselves. Not wanting to be embarrassed by their involvement with the film, the actors threatened to sue Sony if they were featured too heavily in the marketing for it. Daniel Radcliffe. Sometimes we are our own biggest critic, and no matter how much praise Daniel Radcliffe got for his portrayal of beloved literary icon Harry Potter, the actor just can't get behind his performance in the 2009 installment Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. While Radcliffe has stated that he's happy with his work on other Potter movies, he finds himself unwatchable in this particular one. We've all had days where we phoned it in, but not everyone is comfortable owning up to that. So for the star of a multi-billion-dollar franchise to come right out and say it is definitely a bold move. So what do you think of our list? Did we miss any other actors who hated their own movies? Join the discussion in the comments below and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great videos like this one. Thanks for watching.